Auditioning in general and the business in general and the way we function is going to be changed and shaped by what we're seeing we are able to accomplish now without being in person. And I think a lot of casting is already moving digitally. And I think it's just going to continue to go more and more that way. And, you know, you and I found our method of working together just by virtue of the fact that I was stuck in LA, live in New York, that's where we met. And we have just kind of always worked digitally. And it's always worked really well. I mean, I love seeing you in person, but I never feel like I can't get there or like I'm getting less of the experience of working with you just because it's virtual. I never feel that way. You and I have prepped that I didn't get or that I did get. It's almost like something that I file away and we can remember and call that up on another project in the future. Or it's reminiscent of that one moment that we teased out in that one scene that we can't really remember, but we remember the feeling of it. Yeah. And if we could get that, it would be, you know, it's almost like you have ingredients for one thing, you didn't end up making the pizza, and then you make pasta the next year. You still have the sauce. The sauce is over there.
I like your attitude.
And the thing that's so special about you as a coach that I find, because I've worked with other coaches in the past, is that your imagination about the possibilities of what the actors could find in the space on the day is endless. So, of course, we're doing the dialogue work and the emotional preparation the moment before, what the sense memories are, and digging into all that. But you're also giving me suggestions of like prop acting, which I find, I love props now. I am the actor who's always looking for props. What can I do? How can I interact with the space physically? And those are things that are direct Terry steals. I mean, you know, you could grab a pot holder in that moment and want to murder the pot holder, you know, be closing something or keep moving, keep engaging in the space, because people mostly don't just sit and talk. But I also think another thing that I really love that you do is to use the words, right? The words are there to help you. And like you said, it is a spatula or a sponge, right? A spatula has a different connotation than a sponge, which you can wring or throw. And I think that it was funny when you said spatula and sponge. I'm so programmed to be thinking about how to use the words that I was like in my head as you were saying that, I was like sponge, spatula. I was thinking about even like how hard the consonants of spatula is and how sponge is much softer, but it's got a nasal. I don't know. So I think there's real beauty in the words. I didn't even think, what would it take to play this? I mean, initially when I called my agents and my lawyers, I said, you know, there's this article and I want to option this. And people were kind of scratching their heads like, huh? You want to play that woman? You don't look anything like that woman. You're not physically built anything like that woman. You're certainly not 70 years old. And I guess I always thought, oh, well, those are next week's problems. Let me just go and get this, and then I'll figure it out. And then I thought, you know, I have Terry, I have dialect coaches, I have other things. There are people that do prosthetics. And if I can push this hard enough, that I can make this great enough, if I get to the point where I get to act it, well, I have no idea how I'm going to do that. This is me 3 years ago. But I guess I'll burn that bridge when I get to it. Not cross that, burn it. And that's kind of what it's been for me as a director too. It's like, I'm going to do this. I'm making this decision to do this. And then if I get the opportunity to, well, I'm going to learn every single thing that will make me hopefully be able to succeed in order to do this. And I'm going to surround myself with a team that will help me. Every step has been a hurdle. And I'm just like the little engine. And there's not to say that there aren't times that felt dark when I thought, I don't know if I can pull this off. And I, still don't. But we just keep going, and you just take it moment by moment and scene by scene, and just stay present and do your best. I think something you said to me a couple months ago was I asked you if you thought that I was too obsessed with creating the character of Angeline in the way that I have become entirely consumed and obsessed by every gesture, every nuance, every cadence, every toe step, every movement, everything. And you said, no, I think you're the right level of obsessed. To do anything really great, I think you have to be a little bit obsessed. To me, I think I always have a thin skin, which is why I think sometimes we argue a little bit, because I care so much what you think of my work, even in our sessions, that if you're, when you're scribbling down notes, when we're just working a scene, I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh God, what did I do? Oh God, he hates it. Oh God. Oh God. But I do think that, like, for me, it's not about having thick skin, but it's about bouncing back. It's about like taking the evening and crying into my carbohydrates and picking myself up the next day, going for a jog and be like, okay, here's where we're at now. How can I use what I just learned, or what I just learned from my feedback, or how can I be better next time? How can I be more available, more present, or how can I use even the emotional experience of this rejection as part of my arsenal? Like, nobody knows what you're capable of or what you have an immediate draw to except you. So I think there is a lot of not being scared to raise your hand. And I think something that my generation struggles with is this imposter syndrome of, like, always feeling like we're not good enough, or not supposed to be there, or like got too far without, but like, nobody is going to advocate for you if you're not raising your own hand,
or
even if you're not
humility.
sure if you can, or if you're not, like, the worst thing that you can do is, okay, you don't get it, or okay, you make a fool of yourself. Pick yourself back up and, like, keep raising your hand. You just have to, like, keep, like, put me in, coach, put me in, put me in.
Give me the ball.
I think it's always a good time to train. I don't think you ever stop training. I think the idea that I don't really pay a lot of attention to those who are getting cast not based on the quality or the focus that they're putting on the work, because those probably aren't the kinds of jobs that are going to make my heart sing anyway. Right. I think for me, it's kind of like that old thing of, like, how can you do jazz, right? You need to learn all the rules before you can break them. And I think that there's no better time than right now to do it, because you're never going to have the breadth of this moment with no real stakes, no real pressures. And it's in these moments where you have the most air around you, that I think you can challenge yourself and make the biggest strides forward. I think the smartest people know what they don't know and ask for help. Yeah. And I think that I know I wouldn't have gotten most of the opportunities and progressed as far as I have without your help. I mean, and I worked with other coaches in the past before, and you and I have a rapport and have a connection, and I trust you. And even if we fight, you're right, we do want the same thing. We want what we do together to be unique and to be special and to take big swings, and maybe, it doesn't always work, and we leave it all on the field. And I think that's why and if I look at the other actors that you work with as well, I'm constantly impressed by their work, and I feel lucky to work with you.
I feel lucky to work with you.
Thanks.
You're a sweetheart, and you work hard, and you got a big heart, and you're a bit crazy in the best way. Yeah.